Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Blokees Charizard. And I've been told, because these were available, like, I guess overseas for a while now, and they finally have the pre-orders up here in the States. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to get one. But I've been told by people who got them over from overseas that this is the SH Figure Arts Charizard killer, and it is at least as good, if not better, and it's obviously a lot cheaper, so this is the way to go. And so I was like, alright, well that's cool, it looks pretty good, I'll get one. And when they came up for pre-order, I ordered one. But they also contacted me and said, hey, do you want review samples? And I said, they were actually offering Transformers. I said, well, how about the Pokemon? So they obliged. And so I got a few of the Pokemon to review. So, that's what we're going to look at. We have Charizard here, and I'll do Greninja also. There's some stuff that's not as good about it, I think, but barely. It's pretty much better than the figure art. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's technically a model kit. You have to assemble it. I don't know how many pieces it is. Does it say? I don't think it says on here. It takes like 5 minutes. It's not a lot. Like the legs are one piece. I think you have to snap on the feet. Maybe you don't even have to do that. But yeah, it's not a problem. It's technically a kit, but you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, there's no window or anything, so not the most displayable box if you like seeing the figure, but at least you get that on there. That render looks pretty nice. Alright, let's set that aside and actually talk about the figure. First off, we'll do a height measurement. He stands in this pose. Now, of course, you can pose him differently given his dragon-like build, but I'm going to leave him in a fairly neutral stance, and that's going to put him at about, let's say, 5 1/8 inches, something around there. Again, it'll vary, and that's why I'm not being super precise. About 13 centimeters, and here he is up against a Marvel Legends Darwin. So he's kind of small if you're going for 1/12 scale, but sometimes Charizard is drawn to be very big. Usually he's like 6 feet tall or something like that, I think, officially. So he's not quite there, but he's probably good enough to throw in your Smash collection. And also, it doesn't matter because he's your only other option in terms of fairly well-articulated, good-looking figures. Like, there are tons of Charizards out there, but in this variety, he's your only option. And here he is up against the Figure Arts. And this is the Figure Arts version. It's not the D-Arts version. It's the reissue that's been slightly modified. I mean, I didn't modify it. They changed it from the original one. But they're basically the same size. So, if you're okay with this size, then this size works. But you'll notice they do have some differences, and we'll talk about that as we go forward a little bit. But in terms of size, he matches the Figure Arts, and that's probably a reasonable size for that. I'd prefer him to be a little bit bigger, and like, yeah, you can get different figures, but I don't think they're going to be as articulated and nice looking as this one, or even the Figure Arts one. So let's get into the aesthetic. He's darker orange than the Figure Arts one. This is the color I would prefer. Most Charizards look like this. Sometimes he's even more red. Sometimes he is more yellow. That's what this guy is. I do think this one's too yellow. This almost looks like the Mega Y, I think, Charizard. It's too yellow, if you ask me. So this is the way to go for that. And then they do have the tealish, bluish wings. That's nice. This guy does too. This guy has shading. That's the biggest difference. I mean, obviously the sculpt is different, but this guy has shading that you'll notice right off the bat. He has shading throughout the orangey parts, which is not super noticeable, but the wings are very, very noticeable. So if you like that, this is the way to go. If you don't care, this is the way to go, and this is what I would say. I do like the look of this one way more. The overall aesthetic and proportioning is way nicer on this guy, and he's way less segmented, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. He's not a perfect figure, though. The paint job isn't absolutely great. Like, there's some weird discoloration here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can probably see it. But he still looks pretty darn good, and I think these are PVC parts. They have a little bit of flex to them, and they feel like PVC. I think this is a PVC, like hard PVC model kit, and the pieces do flex. I mean, like, in a way PVC would, not in a way all plastics can flex to some degree. Yeah, this is an interesting thing. It does turn out to be basically an SH Figure Arts style figure after you put it together, and I was not expecting it to look as good as it does, but it does, and it feels nice. Tuna has a nice... It's got almost a flatter finish. Maybe it does. They're about the same, I guess. Some spots on the Figure Arts have a little bit of sheen to them, but yeah, it's got a nice matte finish. So it looks really good. The paint job is definitely clean enough around the wings. Like, you can see orange in the joint there, but I guess that's fine. The face looks pretty darn clean. The eyes are good. The claws are painted well. The belly is lined up nicely, and same thing throughout for the tail. It's a good looking figure. The fire, it's a little bit milky in the way they painted the red with like harsh stripes. Maybe not the best looking thing, but it'll definitely do. The one thing I think this one wins at is having the more crystally fire. But hey, they have the harsh stripes too. I wonder if I commented on that in the original review. But it's more transparent, translucent, so it looks nicer. But this one still looks really good. So aesthetically speaking, for the price point, 9 out of 10. It's really, really nice. I like the sculpt. I like the paint. I like that the articulation functions without being super ugly too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it looks good. Now, as far as accessories go, you get the display stand. Now you have to put your own sticker on. I mean, not your own, they give it to you, but it's a little bit tricky because it's one giant sticker that has to line up as a square and with all the holes in there. I popped this one on without any effort at all. I guess it was just luck because the Greninja one wasn't as nice in terms of alignment. But anyway, the sticker is really high quality. It actually looks like a nice display stand. You get 4 pieces of fire. They're not as nice looking as the one on his tail. But you do get 4 pieces of fire to peg in there, and if you wanted to use them just on a shelf, you'd have to cut the little nubbins off. But you do get those. You get a display stand arm type piece, not for the figure, but for the blast effect. And what is this one called? This one's Fire Blast, I believe, the one that has like the kanji on it. So that's really cool that they included that. And then you just get a standard fire poof, so like a flamethrower or something. Pretty nicely done. Not perfect with the shading from the red to the yellow. It's like mostly red with just a harsh orange-yellow transition, but still, it's pretty darn nice, and that's a good spread. It's a pretty good spread of accessories. Maybe the Figure Arts one wins in that regard, but I would pick this one, honestly, especially with the Fire Blast effect. So accessories for this sort of thing, again, at this price point, 9 out of 10. Easy, maybe even more, but I think they could have done better with the flames. Now, as far as the articulation goes, it's surprisingly good. Now, I'll urge you to go back and check out the other Charizard. I'm not going to do the whole articulation across both of them. I'm just going to show you this guy here, but go back and check that one out. It'll be at the top there or down at the bottom in the description. But watch this guy's head range. He can go basically straight up. Really, no problem at all. It's really nicely done. So he can lean back. He can lean all the way down, side to side. It works really nicely. Like, maybe there could be more, but you are going to be pretty satisfied, I think, with this guy. His mouth does open and close, of course, and his tongue does move on the inside. I don't know if I'll be able to conveniently... Yep, I can conveniently grab it. His tongue does move too. So it's pretty darn well executed. They did a good job with that. Now the shoulders, look at that. They put a butterfly joint in there. I mean, kind of. I don't know if there's actually a joint. I think it is. I think the socket itself is actually moving and it's not just a floating cap. But you get a butterfly, and the shoulder goes up to better than horizontal, so that's okay. And if you need to bring it forward, it goes forward. You're going to get your full rotation, and because you get this joint down here, you don't need a bicep swivel on the arm itself. So you have a much cleaner sculpt than this guy who has the bicep swivel. This Charizard is just way too chunked up, if you ask me, because he doesn't have much range anyway. This one has pretty good range and has far fewer seams and better looking seams, in my estimation. Now, maybe you don't prefer everything about this guy, and that's fine, but it's my review, and I think it looks better. The elbow, single jointed elbow, but for Charizard, I think that's fine. And then the wrists have a ball peg, and they move around pretty well. Nothing crazy there. The hips, they move around pretty well on that ball socket. You do get a little bit of a knee, not much. And then the foot is on a ball also. So not a ton of range there, but I do like the fact that his legs, I think his mouth looks a little weird when it's all the way closed, by the way. So I'm gonna probably open it up. I like that. Anyway, his legs stick forward a little bit better than this one. So this guy has kind of like a weird straddling pose, and this guy's legs come forward a little bit nicer. So I like that. And they work well enough. Now this guy's wings also function way better. They are on a ball socket, or a ball peg with a ball hinge. So they have pretty good range. Now rotating that, it gets kind of floppy in some spots. So it's going to be kind of a nuisance to get it exactly where you want it. See how it's flopping right there? So you have to go a little bit further, and then it might hold where you want it to. You're going to have to find the sweet spot. So it's a little bit of an annoying thing, but you do technically get better range out of that. And he only has the one joint in the wing, which I think is nicer than having the 2 joints the way they've done it, because his wings don't move very well at all where they connect. So they have this joint here to accommodate for it, and it doesn't look as good. It looks kind of weird, I think. So I think these ones are the better way to go. So that's pretty cool. And then his tail, the other Charizard's tail was kind of a nightmare. This one works surprisingly well, and the joints are creamy. I don't know if it's like palm on palm, the hard plastic in there, but it's hard plastic joints for sure. But the tail moves surprisingly well, and it's way less segmented than the Figure Arts one, and it doesn't fall apart as easily. And that just, if you get this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you go to move this. It doesn't fight you, it works, and the plastic is smooth. It moves very nicely. So yeah, I'm thrilled with this. This is my new go-to Charizard. Screw the Figure Arts one. It costs like 3 times as much. Nowadays, it's probably worth a ton. I don't know. Maybe it's time to sell that one. But this thing's nice. Yeah, the articulation, I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. Like, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So I think Blokees is onto something. I'm not really into their, I guess I had their Optimus, and now I kind of wish I kept it now that I see that their products are really nice. But like, they have some superhero stuff coming out. That's not really my bag, as they say, but it looks pretty good. The only real complaint I have is that it says Pokemon TM right there. I don't like that. I'm guessing that wasn't the Blokees decision. I'm guessing that was Pokemon Company doing Pokemon Company type stuff. But it's a really, really good figure. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 9.5 out of 10. I'm rounding it up to 9.5. That's not how rounding works. Just because it's quite inexpensive for as good as it is. And it is my new go-to Charizard for my collection. Obviously for my collection, not for my battles. I wouldn't use a non-shiny Charizard in battles, but it's a good one. I would definitely recommend it. And again, I'll put the link in the description below if you want to pre-order it. But that's it for me. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.